He's a peculiar man. I might even say he has principles that transcend money or drugs or anything like that.
Not like you.
He's not even like
This
me.
is Dana White's rankings and how he would rank fighters in each division based on his psychology. Now, I've been watching the UFC for over like 12 years, every single event. I used to watch every single freaking post-press conference, every presser, every freaking thing you can imagine. But now it's time to start creating the content as I get into Dana White's psychology, because I know the man very well. I know him personally. I don't, but anyway. Okay, we start off with Ilia Topuria. Boom. He loves Ilia Topuria. He's from Spain. Español, no habla inglés. You know, like he loves everybody from different markets that are big. Like that was such a terrible way of explaining it. But if you're a big kind of personality and you can become a big name and you're from a big market like Europe, Spain, stuff like that, Dana wants you, he loves you, he's gonna caress your body if you let him. Then next up we have Islam Makhachev, which I think is S rank as well. I do believe in many ways Dana probably prefers Ilia, and we're gonna order them in this way as well, right? So I do believe Dana prefers Ilia overall, just for what he can do for the business and what he's done lately. Whereas Islam, he's kind of moving up. Dana, I feel a lot of the time doesn't like when fighters flip-flop divisions. Not that Islam's a flip-flopper. Obviously, he's been at 155 like the entire time. But I don't know, I feel like Dana doesn't like it. He doesn't like when fighters move divisions unless like there's a really big reason to. Then next up we have Arman Tsaryaken. He puts him up at A tier, I think, because he does have like a big enough personality and he wins most of his fights. But he doesn't do quite as much as these two for Dana's wallet or his emotionality is what I'm trying to say. Next up is boom, freaking Max Holloway, of course. And Max Holloway actually goes up above Islam because he is the BMF. And yes, he got knocked out by Ilia, but that still keeps him up at S tier. Like, because Dana knows fighters lose. It doesn't really matter if you lose technically. Obviously, it's best not to. But if you do lose, you lose in good fashion and you come back and you put on good shows after you lose. He doesn't care. Like, he'll forget that. He'll forget the losses as long as you're someone like Max Holloway, which is very rare for anyone to be like Max Holloway. Charles Oliveira, he puts him up at, you know, this is interesting. This is an interesting one. I think actually he's going to go up to A tier along maybe, this one's hard. This one's hard because Charles, like the type of fighter Charles is, I do think Dana, of course, likes him in certain ways, but he also doesn't. I feel like Dana doesn't like Charles that much, and it's mostly because of what Charles can provide for the company. Like, he's kind of getting older at this point. He's never, I mean, I guess he was champion actually, dog. He was champion, but like, I mean, was he? I mean, was he really? Was he? I mean, I'm talking about like how he won the title, right? Like, was he really champion? I think Islam's always been the champ, honestly, and then now Ilia. So yeah, I don't know. I think Dana, he doesn't see him in quite a great light, like S tier light, because he's not that kind of fighter. Honestly, I feel like I'm kind of over ranking him for Dana here. And of course, like, fans would put him up at S tier, right? This is not about the fans. It's about what Dana thinks and how he would rank fighters based on what they can do for him at the time. And at this very moment in time, Charles is still A because he has such a huge fan base, but it's not as big as people think it is. Well, it's big, of course, like lots of eyes, but like I've said in other videos, one view is not equal, man. One view from one person is not the same. Like, if you get a view from Brazil, it's not the same money as a view from the UK. It's not the same. You make way more money with fighters from Spain. Boom. It rhymes for a reason. You know what I mean? That's what Dana thinks about. It's all about not really the bottom line. but just about making money and kind of about like creating stars for the UFC. He doesn't want to create stars that are not going to be in the UFC. He wants them all to stay within the UFC or bring in stars that are from other places and make them UFC stars, because it's about the UFC. It's not about the individual fighters. It's not for Dana. Next up, we have Justin Gaethje, S tier. And I think this is self-explanatory. I think he would even put him above Islam here, below Max, and not because he lost to Max, but just because like he loses in general sometimes, and he's consistent. He is actually very consistent, especially with winning, but you know, not quite on the Max level, not quite there, but he always puts on exciting shows, which is why Dana ranks him at S tier. And Dan Hooker up next, he's above Charles, A tier. This is top heavy. I feel like I mentioned that about a different ranking I did. Check out the playlists in the description or on the channel or on the cards or whatever. But I did the another ranking, and I was saying like I think this is going to be pretty top heavy. I think it was bantamweight maybe, or was it featherweight? And it ended up being like pretty even spread out, but this one's like fairly top heavy. This is 155. This is probably most people's favorite division, is the lightweight division. It's just it has the most stacked talent. It has probably most people are around this kind of weight, which is why people like this division, because these guys, they cut from only like around 170, and the heavier ones maybe around 180, maybe, right? And yeah, and that's like the average kind of man size. That's probably why it's one of the healthiest divisions, because there's a bunch of people around this weight, as well as a bunch of people that watch the UFC that are around this weight, which makes it even more popular. And then next up we have Paddy Pimblett. This is top heavy. He's gonna put him up at S tier because of Paddy's personality, where he's from. He loves anybody from the UK as well, because they have a big market there, and like I said, not every view is equal, and views from there and views from the US and places like that makes way more money than views from the Philippines or Thailand, right? Like, those views don't really matter that much, even though the market does overall. The market itself matters, but you know, you can do without if you're making way more somewhere else. And next up, Poland man, Mateusz Gamrot. Yeah, honestly, I think he's the first one going down to B tier, because Dana White, I mean, Mateusz is good, and he's from a place that I think is like pretty good in terms of money, Poland, but I just don't think he thinks too much of Mateusz, because he loses sometimes, and his fight style is always good, I think, personally, but he's not always the most exciting fighter in the division. I mean, look at all the guys above him. Literally all of them are more exciting, except for maybe Arman sometimes. Arman can be like a boring fighter, especially when he was fighting Charles. I mean, I wouldn't call it boring. It wasn't boring, but it wasn't exciting, right? That's Dana's mindset, excitement. And then we have good old Benny, Beneil Dariush. Benny boy. I'm sorry, dog. You're even below Mateusz for Dana, because you got that gray hair and crap. He looks like he's freaking 40 years old. Dana does not like old men. We just watched the Contender Series last night, Dana White's Contender Series. I live streamed it, and he was poking at the guy that got the best finish all night. It was a pretty good night of finishes, and he poked at the guy that got the best finish with the freaking, I think it was a ghillie or something, and he mentioned his age. You're 32. That's what you should be doing against guys like this. You know, like, he was mentioning his age in the sense of like being like super mature and like almost on the way out. That's like, bro, 32 is basically a man's prime, especially in the UFC. If you look at the statistics, most champions are around their early-ish 30s, because that's kind of when your man strength comes in. It's also when you just have way more skill set because of all the years prior, right? Like a 24-year-old versus a 34-year-old, typically I'm going to go for the 34-year-old. I don't care what people say, man. You ain't got no man strength at 24. You're going to get stronger, I promise, but you ain't got your man strength yet. That's what, I mean, we just saw in the Contender Series with those skinny fools that just keep getting wrestled down. Young kids getting wrestled on the ground because they're so freaking weak. They ain't got no strength. Next up, we have Rafael Fiziev. He's up at the top of A tier, above Dan Hooker. And Dan is above Charles because of where he's from. Like, you know, the New Zealand, Australia kind of region. They love, I mean, that's a good market for the UFC. And it's a little bit more money making than the Brazilian market. Trust me, I mean, I think a lot of people will disagree with that. They're gonna say there's a lot of money coming out of Brazil. No, that's not how it works, dog. Just because you have a lot of eyes watching doesn't mean UFC's making a lot of money off of it. That's not how it works. I guarantee you they're making more money out of New Zealand and Australia than they are out of Brazil, despite the probably massive amount more people watching. Now, we have another guy from Brazil. It's Moicano, Money Moicano. He has his own YouTube channel, I think. And I don't think he does. I know he does. We're going to put him... top heavy, like I said. He's still A tier just because of what he's been doing. Like, he's... Like, the way he finished BSD is what... Was that BSD he finished? Yeah. Like, he freaking got on top of him. Yeah. The things he's been doing, and his wins look better when these other guys be winning too. So, like, I don't know, like, I've always kind of underestimated him, but I feel like, yeah, he's up here, but a little bit below Arman for Dana White. This is not my rankings, this is Dana White's rankings. And then we have Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler, for him, is A tier, probably above them. Yeah. Because of the way he fights, the types of shows he puts on. Dana typically doesn't care for the Bellator boys until they prove themselves, and Chandler's proved himself to be a prize fighter. He fights like a prize fighter, even though he sucks. His fight IQ sucks, and like, he's definitely like never really gonna win too much more. But he probably brings a lot of fresh eyes to the scene because of the way he fights just so aggressively, and it's always fun, especially what he did to Tony Ferguson. Next up, we have Benoit Saint-Denis. He is A tier, especially after what he just did. He's above all of them. All of them. He's above all of them because of what he did, where he's from, France. Viva la France. They all love the French because I guess it's another market. They haven't really, you know, or MMA in general is kind of new in France because it used to be illegal. Just crazy, dog. You know, it's like, wow. Anyway, it used to be illegal, so they don't have too much in terms of like fight culture there, MMA fight culture, I would say. They probably have enough now, but you know, like when something's illegal, it's gonna be hard to have a huge market behind it. But I do think the French market grew like significantly quick. I mean, they were always into watching UFC in France and MMA in general, I mean, but they just couldn't do it, which is freaking weird. But I mean, they rectified it. It's not illegal now. Next up, we have Grant Dawson. Grant, no, he's not up to A. But I don't even remember what Grant's last win kind of was. Let me see. Let me Google Grant Dawson, because I want to see, because it's what have you done for me lately, Grant? And I think he's done a lot lately, right? From what I'm kind of remembering off the top of my dome. Yeah, he beat Diego Ferreira, the 40-year-old bum. No, he's not a bum. He's not. Diego's not a bum. He beat Rafa Garcia, the guy I talk crap about, by TKO, elbows. Wow, yeah. Dang, Rafa, that's what you get, dog. And Joe Selecki before that, yeah. He's, you know what? There. This is top heavy. This is going to be the most top heavy division in the whole thing. I can guarantee it. We're going from bottom to top. So flyweight to heavyweight. And then I'm going to do the women's stuff after that, because women come last. But anyway, last up is this guy, Ruffy. Boom. Mauricio Ruffy. There's got to be somebody in D tier based on Dana's freaking psychology all the time. It's like, I haven't put anybody down lately. it's going to be this guy. This guy just didn't show me anything in that fight. I mean, like me personally, I'm Coin for those that don't know. This guy freaking sucked in his last fight. It was so embarrassing against BSD, Benoit Saint-Denis, and I picked him. I freaking picked this guy. I picked this guy? Why'd I pick you, guy? No, dog. You're D tier. And that's not coming from me. I'm rechanneling Dana White again. And this is what have you done for me lately, Poofy? You freaking bum. He wouldn't say those words directly, but he thinks those words for sure. Yeah, and this has been Dana White's rankings based on his psychology and how he would rank fighters based on all the criteria we talked about. Thank you for joining, for hitting up the, I was gonna say for all the live chats. I'm a live streamer, but we're not live streaming right now. For hitting up the VPN, www.coin.me. That's Coin's most excellent VPN. This has been Coin. You have been you, and yes, Minted MMA. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.